No, I cannot.
Okay, so second attempt at the second video carries
I
Holmes.
did not do it last week.
Dub versus Brian. Let's see. Dub is projected to win by about 8. Let's see what we think about that.
So before we get in, so this is a game where if I win, I think that secures my playoff spot. If I don't win and Cameron does, that just makes everything more complicated as far as down the stretch. So I think this is, for me personally and Cameron, I think this is an important game to keep him in and to secure my playoffs.
Okay, so Brian projected to lose by 8, but he doesn't have a kicker in right now, so we'll see how that all shakes out. First matchup, Dub is starting Cutler versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sucks, so Cutler could have a big game. I always feel like he could have a good game because he throws to so many good players, but he always seems to have, he doesn't always, but he's had a lot of bad games. Versus Wilson, who I was super high on, has been coming down, and now he's facing Arizona, whose defense is good. I'd like to call it a wash, but the way that Wilson has been playing, I actually have to give Cutler an edge.
So, so I'm definitely giving Cutler the edge. If you look at the points year to date, Russell has so Cutler's 7, I think Russell's 5, but Breeze and Cutler are basically the same amount of points. But Wilson has survived on basically 2 games this whole season where he is in the standings, where Cutler's been actually pretty consistent. There might only be 2 games where he just flat out sucked. Everything else has been around 20 points. So, to your point, he's got good players. He's playing against Tampa Bay, who's terrible.
Yeah.
And Russell's going against Arizona. To me, all signs point to Cutler for this one.
Agreed. Then we got, let's see, Cobb and Bryant looks like the number ones. A lot of really good wide receivers. It's hard to say. This is probably the one-on-one matchup. We'll just go with it. Cobb's really good. I like him. He's going to get the ball plenty of opportunities versus Bryant, who's also going to get the ball a ton. I like Bryant more in this matchup for 2 reasons. One, I think that Minnesota's pass defense is slightly better than the Giants. And 2, Des Bryant, like, whenever he is on national television, he plays even better. He's a primetime fucking player, and this is the Sunday night game versus a division rival. He's definitely going to have a big game.
So I'm going, it's pretty close to me. I don't know why they have 14 points for Cobb.
I think that the projections for both of these guys are low.
Yeah, I feel like they both should be around 17. I don't have the numbers in front of me for Cobb, but I'm pretty sure he's always around 18 points, and we can pull it up now.
We can pull it up.
But Cobb is always consistently around that 18 mark. Yeah. And where Des Bryant can definitely do those numbers, I just don't think he's consistent. Yeah, he hasn't consistently been at the same pace as Cobb. So, yeah, both have decent matchups, but I guess I'd give the slight nod to Cobb for consistency purposes.
Yeah, and the way his quarterback's playing, I can see that. That one can definitely go either way. If this was a 1 o'clock game, I'd probably pick Cobb, but I just think Bryant, he always plays big in those big games. Then we have Julio Jones versus Cleveland. He's been playing really well, even though I don't like him. He's at home versus a good Cleveland defense with Mike Evans, who's at Chicago with a bad defense. Mike Evans has been absolutely on fire, and I actually like him as one of my best plays this week at wide receiver, or one of the best plays at wide receiver, because McNown is playing great, and he's going back to Chicago, who wouldn't give him a chance. I think he's going to try to light it up there. He's going to throw the ball deep a ton. I think him and Vincent Jackson are both going to have really good weeks. And I think Jones has a tougher defensive matchup. I don't think it's going to be, Evans isn't going to have 200 yards and 2 touchdowns again, but I would say, 115 and a touch is pretty likely.
Yeah, I think Jones is a better athlete, but I don't know. Mike Evans is on fire. They're playing against a terrible defense. I don't. If I had the choice, I'd be riding that hot hand through this week.
Okay, then we have, let's see, these running backs are ugly. I guess your best running back is Fred Jackson versus the Jets, and the only thing they can do is stop the run, versus Trey Mason, who's been playing really well, surprisingly. His first week when he was like that hot waiver wire pickup, after the waiver wire, he sucked. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't get him, and now I kind of wish I had him. I like Trey Mason more, just because I think that Fred Jackson is not going to be able to run the ball against the Jets.
Well, I'm sure other people feel this way too, but I feel like my whole running back season and other players too have been just patchwork all season. I've been fighting for every inch here, and this week is just another one of those same exact weeks where Fred Jackson is coming back from another little slight injury, coming back from a larger injury. Isaiah Crowell might be the shining spot here, where last week he got 15 carries and some throws, goal line carries. So I guess if I'm looking at an individual matchup, Fred Jackson versus Trey Mason, I probably might give the edge to Trey Mason because the Jets' defense and Trey seems to be running up the number one spot over there. And who knows, maybe he'll be the Zach Stacy of that team this year.
Next is Crowell versus Foster. Foster, I thought, might not play. I guess he's questionable, but Brian has Blue anyways, and I think their numbers are going to be pretty comparable regardless. Foster's definitely a better player, but they feed him so much. But I actually really like Crowell this week. I think cutting Tate out of this picture and making it a two-headed dragon is a lot better. Crowell is definitely the better athlete than West, and he's averaging more. He just fumbles. So if he doesn't fumble early, if he doesn't fumble early or at all, he'll get the lion's share of the carries. The Atlanta is giving up the most rushing touchdowns. I could see Crowell. I'm playing him in FanDuel. He's like $5,500, and I could see him having like 85 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think the ceiling's high for Crowell, but Foster and Blue
it's obvious,
have a high floor. So the safe play for sure, no doubt, is Foster and or Blue.
Yep, agreed. Tight ends, Clay versus Rivera, 2 guys that are all the pros are like, these guys are good. I don't know. Rivera, I don't know what Clay's been doing. Everyone's expecting him to do more.
He's been coming alive a little bit as far as the last few weeks.
15.85, 13-ish there. Rivera, I think, had like one big game. Oh, no, Rivera's been playing a lot better. But then last week he had a bad game, and he's playing in New Orleans. I guess I've been seeing Rivera's name a little bit more, but
I'm going with Clay here because of the Denver matchup. Because of the matchups. So Clay versus Denver, they have to throw. They're not that great against the tight ends. At least I think so. That's the last time I looked at that. And KC is just a good defense. And I said earlier in another one of the episodes that I thought KC was going to be one of the best, if not the best, defenses this week. So I'm going Clay, but we're talking about people who were just trying to find off the heap. Yeah. So, but my nod's to Clay.
Then at flex, it's Andre Johnson versus Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen just hasn't been doing it. That whole San Diego offense hasn't. And St. Louis's defense is legit, even on the road. So I like Andre Johnson. Mallett's trying to sling it down there. I think this is one of the first definite wins for Dub in flex play.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Johnson is a steady Eddie as far as 10-plus points. There might have been only 2 games where he's been below that, so you can pencil in 10. And with Mallett, maybe 12, where actually the projection's 13. So, and who knows, maybe he gets a touchdown this week and wins me the week.
All right, for the kicker defense combo here, Tucker playing Monday night. That, for whatever reason, it's some stupid fucking thing that I just feel like whoever has the last person playing has a better chance to win. So having Tucker go on Monday night, and a road indoor kicker is just a weird thing that I always like as well. And then Buffalo as a defense, they're at home. The weather's supposed to, they already have like 4.5 feet or 5 feet of snow on the ground in Buffalo right now. And
he's playing against New Orleans.
No, I'm going to the defense now. Buffalo's defense. Sorry. And so in Buffalo, the conditions are supposed to be terrible. Not that the Jets aren't used to that, but their offense is awful. Buffalo's pass rush is great. If Buffalo can get a lead and force the Jets to keep throwing it, I think they can have a field day. I like Buffalo a lot this week as defense.
I've played Buffalo for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they've came through every single time. You've been dogging them the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they've came through. I know San Francisco defense and Washington's fucking terrible. Might be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, this is a good defensive matchup.
But I'm still giving the nods to Buffalo because I think they've done more, and they're still playing against a terrible team. My only problem with my whole lineup right now is that it has 2 Buffalo people in it, and who the fuck knows if they're going to even play this week? And if they don't play this week, do I even get to play these players to count for this week's points? Right. So, not in the greatest position from that standpoint.
I didn't even consider that. Yeah. And then right now, Brian has a kicker on bye, and San Francisco's defense versus Washington. Like I said earlier, I really like them too. So this could be a very high scoring for defenses. Overall, though, right now they have him at. I know it's an 8-point difference, but it's a big underdog for Brian. And I don't agree at all. I think he puts a kicker in there.
If you put the 8 points there, then it's even.
Exactly, it's even. I just don't agree at all. I think that the only real edges that are probably going to pan out, like definite edges for Dub, are quarterback and flex. Everything else, I think, is pretty much a wash with a huge advantage at running back for Brian. So I think he wins.
Yeah, I'm going Cutler for president.
Yeah.
And he's taking me all the way to the Super Bowl, so I'm going with me because of Cutler.
Don't buy it.